And we are live once again. Ladies and gentlemen, Defcamp hit him with the...
Good morning, Azeroth!
Beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. It's that time again, ladies and gentlemen. It's that actually, it's not that time again. We're doing it Friday,
I don't think I ever see you without a hat on.
Oh my god, you guys are...
First no hat appearance, I have to say. First no hat appearance. Everyone was thinking I was freaking bald or something. Nope, just got a regular
I thought you were like me. You wear a hat because you're bald.
Oh, wait, you're bald? Melderon?
Shut up, man.
Well, welcome, guys. Welcome back. Thanks for hanging out with us. Once again, we got a cool show for you lined up. We got some good talking points. We got the beautiful, rainy ASMR ambience. Loch Madon in the background. One of the most scenic places in the game. One of my favorite, most cozy spots. But let's start off with just a round of updates, man. How are y'all doing this week?
Fantastic.
Doing good?
Yeah. Doing good.
Doing good.
Yeah.
Had some good food last night. You went out.
Oh, dude, had some
we took my mom out
last night.
Yeah, took mom out for her birthday.
And not only was yesterday my mom's birthday, though, it was also my 5-year anniversary of being clean and sober.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, yeah, it was a nice night.
You went like 2 expansions sober, dude. That's sick.
Dude, I did. Yeah, I just have WoW as my only drug now.
Smash that like button for the 5 years sober, ladies and gentlemen. 5 years sober, dude. I'd smash the like button myself if I could. Congratulations.
Oh,
you're the real hero here.
Oh, please. Yeah, but we had a great night out. Had some mussels and shit. It was nice.
Do love those mussel and those scallops.
Oh my god, so good.
And it's okay. That kind of goes for both of you guys. So you guys went out. How about you, Dunedain? How was your week, man?
Good, chillaxed actually. Not much work, so that's always good, right?
That is good.
Mm-hmm. It is good. Another day, another
Absolutely.
dollar. I've been good. We've been working on some classic WoW projects. I've been
so excited about that.
Yep. Ooh, got another follower. Twitch Toss Boss following. Thank you very much. Muscle's so good.
Thanks.
All right. Well, we will kick it off just with a little two-minute update on news. This is a weekly show, so we like to do a little bit of a segment on news. There's not too much to report though, as a lot of you guys been, as long as a lot of you guys know, we haven't had a massive update since BlizzCon. But I talked about this on the PvP panel. There was something a little bit interesting. So, a German magazine called Computer Build, they had an interview with Blizzard, with the classic WoW devs. And it was in German, so I was just like, whatever, I don't really understand what's going on.
Good.
Das is good. But they translated it into English. It's all over the place. You can find it pretty readily. But there was some funny little nuggets in there. They, just little things like the classic WoW devs were saying that the demo exceeded their expectations. It didn't seem like they touched too much on any of the rocky aspects of the demo. So I thought that was interesting.
Of course not.
But
exceeded their expectations. Wow.
Yeah, exceeded.
Their expectation was it the expectation to leave the LFR tool in there as well?
No. I think numbers wise.
Oh, okay.
It's got to be numbers wise, right? It's got to. Yeah, they probably made, dude. How much was how much was the ticket again for like $20 something, $30?
Something like that. Yeah.
I mean,
it was around $20, I think.
Dude, I usually never buy those things to the virtual tickets. I don't know if you guys watch and how many of you have actually bought that thing in the past, but can you guys put like a 1 or a 2 or something in the chat if you were compelled enough to buy the BlizzCon ticket? Was it 50? Yeah. It was $50. Wow, dude.
Was it?
Yeah, dude, they made a killing, man. Put a 1 or 2 in the chat or something like that. If you bought the BlizzCon demo, and you never usually buy those things, I'll put a 1 in there because I never usually buy it, right? I'll just watch the highlights
I've never bought
or whatever. But a lot of people were buying it, man. Like myself included. Some people were buying multiple so they could get around the that cooldown, but then they got rid of it. Yeah.
I wish we knew how many people bought it just for the demo. Like, I wish we had that number, man.
Dude, each one in the chat's like $50. That's crazy, man.
Yeah. We bought 2 of them. Like idiots.
$100. Yeah. I mean, as creators, you kind of have to, right? Thing is,
well, no, because Defcamp was in Kansas at the time. He literally bought it. He literally bought it for no reason because we were at the same location.
And I couldn't even play that much. Like, I played the first day when I streamed it, and then I played it a couple more times here and there. But honestly, I was a little, heartbroken for some things, but I had a good time.
Yeah, we managed to have a good time. We made the best of it. Life gives you lemons, make lemonade. We did that. It was fun. If anyone in the was watching, the demo week. That was a lot of fun. We raided through the barons and did stuff like that. Did duo leveling, workshops and stuff like that.
When Classic first comes out, man.
But but the thing is, though, they're saying that it exceeded their expectations. But if you remember during the demo week, they got rid of that cooldown like after the first couple hours, man. Like it seemed like they were planning for a ton of people to the point where you would have like an hour or something cooldown between playing. Remember? But then they shortly got rid of it.
But the sharding take care of that anyway.
Maybe not overall server load, but maybe they plan on having that debuff for shorter than we thought they would. Do you know what I mean? We don't know how long they thought that debuff was going to last.
Okay, but
it may have extended longer than they thought, even though they knew they were going to implement it. Maybe they thought they were only going to implement it for an hour or two, when in reality they implemented it for an entire day. So maybe it was greater than. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Okay.
It's always
I don't know.
To say something like it was greater than our expectations. So they come out positive to the world.
Yeah.
Would be weird honestly, if they say it was lower than our.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was horrible. It was a shit show.
That's true.
But in reality, does anyone in this chat? I'm assuming you're all Classic WoW fans. Is anyone surprised that it beat their expectations? I'm not.
No.
That it beat their expectations? All I'm saying is, I guess I make that point because, all right, there could be two situations. One, the Classic WoW kind of legacy private server community is so small it's just like a little raindrop and it doesn't even matter, and like 99% of the feedback was positive and it exceeded their expectations. Two, Blizzard still has that weird disconnect where they're not communicating like openly
it's
to
entirely
us
possible
and kind of just being like, all right guys, it was rocky, we get it, man, like we're sorry, like we're working on it, we had to get it out by BlizzCon. I haven't seen that kind of super empathetic press release type thing where they're just communicating and being like, there was some issues for sure, but we just want to let you know this is why the demo was like this. I don't know, it could be either or, but
I think they're kind of just like, great success, very nice,
right?
I just think as a community we always get under theorized or calculated or represented. I think we're a lot bigger than they think, and I think that we're continuing to shatter with their expectations. I think.
Yeah, in that sense, I agree.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, the demand for Classic has probably been higher than they expected, right? That's fair.
Especially
now.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with everything. It's kind of like coming to a perfect storm right now. I think everything is hot and everything is like ready right now for Classic to be, if BFA keeps on going down the road it is, to be, like really big. But we'll see. We only got a few more months. It's crazy to think that it's actually going to be here. Like we're going to have Game of Thrones and Classic WoW like right around the same time. It's going to be awesome.
Damn, dude. No life.
I know, right?
I linked the article in the chat if you guys want to take a look at your own, pace. But yeah, I don't know. 1 week closer, I guess. It's starting to get a little warmer here. I don't know where you guys live, but I can feel it, man. Summer's right around the corner. It's about to be February.
The days are longer now. Yeah.
Right.
It's quite cold here, but yeah. Yeah, it's snowing.
Oh, is it really? Snow. Yeah, we had a little bit in Philly.
Oh damn, we got a subscriber, dude. Fallen Frenzy with the Twitch sub, yo. Thank you so much, dude.
Yeah. And Daweed Pitlick, I just totally destroyed your name. You're very welcome for the Shaman Kites. I'm glad you enjoy them.
Yeah. Big ups to Melderon.
Good stuff.
All right, so Fallen, the new sub has a question. Do you think that Blizzard will release the player count? They're not doing it with retail. I don't know, dude. They might with Classic because it'll be a big hype beast.
If it gets really big and like, but that's the thing. I had a question about this too. Like, are they gonna release it just as WoW subs, or are they gonna release it as?
Are they gonna separate it? Yeah.
Because it might be embarrassing, dude. You think it would be embarrassing for them if Classic had way more subs than retail, or
I think it's going to happen. I do, honestly.
I think, they kind of have to expect it will be higher. Because if it's lower, it basically fails.
In a sense, that's kind of embarrassing for them, though, because it's like, damn, dude, a game that's like 16 years old or however old it is now is doing way better than this new game with all the new frameworks and all this. Like, it kind of.
Yeah. I think in the beginning it's going to definitely like just like when a new expansion comes out, all this hype gets behind it. You're going to have this hype for Classic. It's going to be really big. I think they're kind of ready for that. But I think eventually, like we're going to be a steady, more people playing Classic than there will be playing Retail for probably until the next expansion comes out for Retail.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what do you think is going to happen though when the new expansion comes out? Do you think a lot of people will? I hope they would fall off, go try the new expansion, then just come back to Classic after like a month. But,
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, it depends how the.
It's hard to say, right?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, depends on what the expansion is. Depends on how
when it comes.
What
content is available in Classic.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, anyway, good stuff to consider, bros. That's just a little segment on news, not too much to report there, but we got some juicy stuff lined up. Dunedain, what do we got? What do we got today?
We can start with favorite zones, probably.
Yes.
And after that, we will talk a bit about expansions and how they handle it, like horizontal versus vertical progression. So, but first, we can start with our favorite zones.
Okay. Are we gonna do Classic only, or are we gonna do all the expansions?
Well, let's do Classic first.
Okay, Classic first. I like that. That'd be too hard. Yeah. So what? Top 5 or something?
That's hard, man.
That is
top
hard.
3.
Top 1.
Let's start with top 1, and then we can go like second and third.
Man.
For me, it's easy. The first one, I can start if you want. First one for me is Stranglethorn Vale by a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, it's always been, and it started when I played Classic. Really, I was playing on my warrior in Duskwood, and I didn't know about Stranglethorn Vale. I didn't know that it exists even. So I was like saying in my guild where to go at level 32 or something like that, and they say, "That's right, Stranglethorn Vale," and I'm like, "Yeah, where's that?" And I was in Duskwood, so I didn't know anything. And then they pointed me towards it, and I came into that nice, juicy jungle. Yeah. It was really nice, man.
I will
Do
say.
you like the music too there?
Sorry?
Do you like the music too as well?
Everything is extremely nice.
I will say, real quick.
Have
you guys ever turned up your settings and like your FX settings in the console in Classic to like improve the look of it? So you can increase the frill density up to maximum, right? That's what I do. And Stranglethorn Vale, when you increase the frill density up to maximum, which is like the foliage on the ground, it really even more so achieves a stunning jungle effect, man. I really love that zone with the frill density all the way up. But that's all I was gonna say.
But also, at first it was really nice because of the looks, and then you see those quests. I like the Hammett Nessingwary camp.
Yeah.
I played as Alliance, so I did a quite different experience than Horde, I suppose. But then you kind of explored the arena, which is also something I really loved about it. It's one of my favorite things in Classic WoW, probably the arena, which is, I don't know if many people like it, but or if many people play it even. But I tried it in vanilla, and I had like 3 of those trinkets. I tried it like every day, whenever I could. It's every 3 hours. Every 3 hours, right?
Damn. Did you have it on your twink, like the Dream?
No, I had it on my only main, which was like level 35, and I was just trying to ninja the chest. But at that time, it was possible to do it at lower level, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then you discover Booty Bay, which is also really nice.
Yeah, Booty Bay is amazing, man.
Yeah, John Stats. Shout out to John Stats.
Yeah, even today, it's still my favorite zone because of a lot of things. There's a lot of PvP, there are so many quests, it's just all overall perfect zone, in my opinion.
A lot of cool little like lore, like I love the there's just so many cool quests there. Like, really cool.
Yeah. So did you play on a PvP server or anything?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
But like I said, back in the day it was kind of different, and today on private servers you're with 10,000 people on the same server, so today it's quite hard to play or to quest in Stranglethorn. But if the server cap is at 3k or something like that, it would be really nice, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Definitely, man.
Okay. Who wants to go next?
Man, favorite is so hard, man. You guys go.
I'm
still. I'll go.
All right.
All right, go ahead. All right, mine is going to be really weird, and people are going to think I'm crazy.
Yeah, so is mine, but we'll see. Yeah.
Mine is a Shara. Because
Wow.
it has the most. To me, it has the most mystery behind it. So I know it's unfinished. I made a video about it. I know it's unfinished. I know it wasn't supposed to be, But the thing is, when you go there, if you ever, and it's more like, okay, I know it's an MMO, and I love playing with other people. But if you ever want to escape and just kind of enjoy the aesthetics and the scenery, that's where you go. Because there's the NPCs. There's maybe a few people questing, and it's just expansive and it's exploration. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And I'm not saying that other zones aren't amazing, and this isn't like I don't like a Shara way better than other zones. I'm just saying that if I had to, and the unique map tiles and colors too. The hinterlands, other forest zones are very different.
Yeah.
The colors are very different, and Ashara is in like an eternal autumn. Everything's orange and red, and then you have all the Night Elven ruins, and you can just explore Ashara and see stuff that you've never seen before. And that's why I think it's so cool, is because we know there's other zones so well, but most players don't know anything about Ashara. So it's about exploration for me.
I like the explanation for it. It is a stunning zone. I love fall. I'm a fall lover, dude.
I do too.
Sweater weather, dude. Pumpkin spice lattes. You guys already know. So Ashara is where the basic bitches go to RP, man. All right, you go, Def.
All right. Okay. So I know a lot of people either love or hate this zone, but for me, it's Winter Spring. It's my number one. Winter Spring. I love the feel. Okay, so my first character was Alliance, and I did love Dunmorrow, but Winter Spring for me was that quintessential. Just I get that warm, fuzzy feeling in my stomach every time I'm there. I dinged 60 there. So that was a big thing for me.
Your first 60? That was your first 60 ding the Winter Spring?
In Winter Spring,
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I love the geysers down there at the south. I love the... I love you have the lodge that's over there, the Elven Lodge. You have the the part where you get the mount over there, and I just love the transition where it goes to that one area where there's that huge gorge and the demons are over there, and I don't know, it's the feeling for Winter Spring for me is like being an adventurer, being off in the what do they call it, in the when you're in the far off places.
Frontier?
Yeah, in the frontier, yeah. I feel like you're an adventurer off in the frontier, and I can't think right now, but yeah, it's like this adventure of being, into, and I love Everlook. I think it's, I love the Goblin cities. So and at a very close second to me, I'll just say now, is Tenaris, and I know that's a desert.
They're extremes. They're extremes.
Yeah, they're both extremes, and I love the quests there as well, and opposites. Yeah, so I love those two zones, but I have to give it to Winter Spring.
It's a good pick, man.
Winter time. Yeah,
that demon spot, too, like you said, I was in there the other day talking with my friend, and how crazy big and so strange that place was, man. And
it is, dude. It's so strange.
One thing about Vanilla too is they just have these random unfinished NPCs in places that just get that are yo, what is that guy there for? It really makes you think what is but there's no purpose or no rhyme or reason for it.
There's another thing. So do you guys remember the quest? What quest is that? Where you have to go inside and talk to the dragon. You have to talk to that. You have to get on top of the mountain in there's I forget what quest it is. It's for, is it for or BWL or something? I forget. It's for something, but you have to go into this cave and either talk to this dragon or kill this dragon. You have to talk to this person, and she transports you there. Forget exactly what the quest is.
Yeah, I've done the quest too. I just can't remember.
Yeah. I love that.
It's for part of the In Dreams quest line.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's for part of the. Is it the In Dreams?
I'm pretty sure.
Tyrion quest?
Yeah. Towards the end or something like that. I think
it's in the middle of it. I think you have to go to Winter Spring and you have to get to that. And it's hard to get to them.
It is very hard to get to. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to jump on this thing and you talk to them. And it's like, okay, thank you, and then just teleport you back to the Eastern Playlands.
Yeah.
or
Yes,
something like that.
that's
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
for anyone who's ever gotten their mouth, I don't know. I never did that, so I know a lot of people enjoy that. But and then so my first character was a rogue, and I remember ganking people like crazy, and I really felt like that was the first. Like I was getting close to 60, and I felt so powerful there. And just ganking people there in Winter Spring, like waiting outside of Overlook, getting people. I just love it, man. There's so many amazing moments there. If you go off to the north, you have the Chimera around there. You have the Wildkin. There's so many different cool little camps and zones. Winter Spring is
the
it for
music,
me,
the
man.
ambience, the
The
snowfall.
music,
It's beautiful.
so
It's a beautiful
good. The
place,
ambience,
man.
like I said, I love it. It gives me that warm fuzzy.
Yeah,
feeling.
of course, man. Of course. All right. So let me go. I've thought about this for the past few minutes. I've answered this question a few times over the months and stuff, but I don't know. So, okay. First of all, thank you very much for the 50 bits, Gladys. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Her favorite zone is Mount Highjaw.
Ooh.
But it's not really a zone in vanilla, but Highjaw is
We'll
great.
get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
All right, so the place that I first dinged 60 on my very first character, I'll share that real quick, was randomly, I was desperately trying to hit 60, and I needed a few more experience. So I popped into Deadwind Pass. You know where those ogres are? They're like low 50s, like you barely get experience from them, and I'm just popping them, like killing them, and I ding 60, just grinding there, killing those random guys. You just reminded me of that moment. But my favorite zone in Classic WoW, I have to say, it may seem like a cop-out answer to many because it's so basic, but when I think WoW, I think this zone. And the most beautiful zone is different. So the most beautiful aesthetic zone that I love is the Hinterlands. I love the Hinterlands. I even made a video about it. I think it's just such a pretty zone. I love the music, the look and feel of it. It's so rich. But my favorite zone in all vanilla has to be the Barrens. Has to be the Barrens. When I think WoW, I think Barrens, dude. The Barrens music. I pretty much know every damn quest in that whole big zone. You can stay there for so many levels. And like I still remember when I was at basic training and I was laying in like a cold, trench thing, and it was raining on me. I just remember thinking, man, I wish I was leveling playing WoW right now in the Barrens. And that was the snap, thing that I snapped to, just being in the Barrens, being level 16, killing Quillboars or whatever. So I gotta say Barrens, man.
That's such the quintessence, especially Horde, right? Like Horde leveling zone, and you spend so much time there. It ranges from 12 to 24 or something like that. It's ridiculous. It might be a little less than that, but it's crazy, right? And for so many people, they have had that experience where you really socialize you get that socialization experience so much in the Barrens. Whether it's the Barrens chat, right, or whether it's just talking to other people doing Wailing Caverns, and that I love the Barrens and all, but visually for me it just doesn't do it. I don't know.
That's fair, yeah.
It's a little bit empty. If we talk about starting zones, Teldrassil is for me the best one. It would probably be my second favorite zone in the entire game as well.
Wow.
If I had to choose the second one. Yeah.
Teldrassil's cool, dude. It's very different too from of course you have Ashenvale, kind of similar, but it's secluded, right? It's off on its own little friggin' island,
And the music.
The music is amazing.
So nice.
Yeah, I think as a Horde player, you think Barrens is home. I think that even for Undead, I think that Silver Pine's beautiful, and so is Tearsfall, but when you see all four races running around the Barrens, it just, I don't know.
And I think
it just brings everyone together.
There's something to be said about both the Barrens and Westfall for the Alliance, because it's the first time I've talked about this before, where you start off, you're a little noob, you know what I mean? You're in the little starting zone, and then this is the first zone that you're hitting that's not, the starting zone. And you walk over that bridge into Westfall, or you walk over that bridge into the Barrens, either way.
Yeah.
And the whole color palette changes. And I think that hits you so hard, dude. That's such a powerful experience that it sticks with people a lot, And that's really the first zone that you're gonna die a lot to as a noob. You're gonna die a ton of times there. Spend a ton of time there.
I really
like.
So
what about Lochmodan? You like that?
I love Lochmodan too, man. Lochmodan, so cozy. One of the
Alliance, that's probably my favorite contested area where you go to after starting zones.
I really like what Sharky said about the Eastern Western Prey lands being an alliance. It felt awesome trying to reclaim the land, the undead. I also love Sharky the story and the lore in the Eastern Western Prey lands. It's so good, so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's really good. I think we should expand it out. So, how about TBC? If we include TBC, does it change? Does your favorite place change?
Well,
Nope.
it doesn't. No, but there's something which comes at maybe spot 2 or 3.
The Grand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, come on, it's so good. It's so good.
But honestly, I want to talk about the Blood Elf starting zone. Like,
Oh yeah.
Eversong Woods and the Ghostlands
Oh,
are
dude,
phenomenal.
yes.
Phenomenal. And I'm sorry if anyone plays Draenei, you guys got the short end of the stick.
Oh my god, they do.
Azure Mist and Blood Mist Isles are just they're
Horrible.
shit.
Horrible.
Yeah.
But Eversong
music
Woods and
there.
the Ghostlands, the music, the aesthetics, everything. It's like,
Yo,
wow.
can I ask you? Are you? Do you think would it have been better if there was no Draenei in TBC?
Well, the Alliance had somebody. So
Yeah, what if they got
Draenei
something
were-
else or
were in
something?
vanilla. The Draenei were in vanilla as well.
they were. Defcamp should talk about this. Yeah.
Yeah. So the other day, it's so funny because like I've done those quests in Swamposaurus so many times, or Swamposaurus, or
It's Swamposaurus, yes.
Yeah, Swamposaurus so many times, and you run by these guys, and you're like, they're fucking Draenei, and never like for some reason.
Wait, they're not Draenei. They're
Nah,
the
dude, those are the ones that
they're the
profit.
Draenei that were
Draenei.
left there.
The
and
lost
they kind
ones
of,
or
like,
something,
withered.
right? Isn't it called
Yeah,
like?
but they
they're
were once
Draenei.
They were once Draenei, though.
Really?
And if you go there,
Yeah.
if
Well, I
you
gotta
go
look
there,
this up,
it'll
man.
say above their head, it'll say Draenei refugee.
No
And
way.
dude,
Dude.
I swear to God, look it up.
Wait,
I
what are they
swear to
called
God.
again? Lost ones? Wow.
The lost ones, or
Like whatever a
look
comma
up-
is.
Yeah, yeah.
Look up
Lost ones.
Draenei refugee vanilla.
I'm
The
looking
broken.
right now.
That's it. The broken.
Thank
Chauncey,
you, John.
thank you.
Yeah, they're broken.
So
Yeah.
yeah, they're there, and it's like, you always think of Draenei in BC, and it's that's when they were really involved in the lore more and stuff like that. But a lot of people were like, the Draenei, where the hell they come from? Space goats, all this shit, and it's like, dude, they were there in vanilla, and this Swamposaurus is sitting there, and like, it's funny because I've done those quests so many times that are there, and I never put 2 and 2 together. Like, I knew they were there, but then you think about it, like, wait a minute, dude, there's friggin' Draenei there, just sitting there in vanilla.
But you don't like Draenei?
I hate them. I hate
Really?
them.
I think
Because
it looks
I
kind
kind
of
of
weird,
like
bro.
it.
Like when
They're space goats.
once TBC came out, like I always thought WoW was the traditional RPG, almost like elves,
The Protoss.
orcs, or humans, and
Yeah, I
Draenei
can see what you
physically, like they're kind of cool. They're kind of beefcakes, look pretty strong, but it kind of gave me this kind of space vibe, and I never really associated WoW with that kind of space vibe. And like when you make a Draenei, you like touch down in a spaceship, and
But-
there's like a little.
But if you go to
Yeah.
Outland, it kind of makes sense, right?
Exactly, that's what I was gonna say. So the
Yeah.
expansion itself literally introduced you to space and time travel, right? Not time.
Yeah.
Space and time is in the space-time continuum. So you're traveling across who knows how far Draenor is from Azeroth as far as spatial distances. I don't know, and that's ever been published. But
4.2 miles.
yeah. So you're actually. So I actually think they are. It's okay. You know, what I mean, it
And
doesn't
they were
really
in
screw
Warcraft
up.
3 as well, so yeah.
But I
Draenei?
always liked the Draenei in the cinematics of the Burning Crusade.
Yeah, that
The
guy was
Burning
kinda badass.
Crusade, where the Paladin Draenei
Yeah.
there is really.
But that's probably
Yeah.
because it's a Paladin.
Yeah, it's true, Liam. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know. It
They
kind of
were.
gave me that
I'm
space
sorry.
vibe. It was kind of the very beginning, and I'm not gonna say TBC. I love TBC. Don't get me wrong. I love TBC, but that was like the first tiny taste of like, in my opinion, degenerating from the original RPG feel of like elves and goblins and humans and orcs. We get a little bit of space in there,
Yeah.
but
I can see that too.
yeah.
But what was always funny too, because like I didn't realize for a long time, I was like, why is it called Draenor? And I was like, why did they name Draenor after the Draenei? And I didn't really took the name from Draenor, because I never understood that. I was like, they're not originally from Draenor, they're from
No.
Argus,
Draenei means the exiled ones.
It means exiled one, and they we don't
In their
use the
language.
orcs. Yeah, we don't use the orcs name for
No.
Draenor.
I don't know what it is off the top of my head.
So
Yeah.
I looked up
They-
the lost ones, right? That's what a comma is. That's what the homeworld is
Yeah.
Draenor, right? Let me read it. So it's kind of like interesting. So the lost ones are highly mutated and deformed Draenei.
Mhm.
They have devolved further than the broken, and many have been reduced to savage and primitive beasts. So it goes on and on, but so they're like a deformed Draenei, but yeah, they are Draenei.
Basically,
Like
yeah, it's crazy though, right? It's like, and like, I mean, like Warcraft 3, and Chauncey's right here because like space was always there. You know, Draenor was in Warcraft 3. You go there with you know, Illidan, and then you have all that storyline. So it's like it was there in Warcraft 3, but I know what you mean, Kargoz, because like in vanilla, that's like not even, it's not there. You know what I mean? You really don't think about that. And then in Burning Crusade, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, let's visit this. So you kind of, in a way, if you didn't, you know, even in Warcraft 3, it's, you know, it's a part of it. But I feel what you're saying there.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely.
I love TBC. Don't get me wrong though, but TBC was great. But.
I mean, in Outland too, like I love the story of Outland and how.
It's just it changed the dynamic, right? So you're looking at the imagery in the back. You have this rainy, scenic Loch Modan. It's a simpler time. There's dwarves cuddled around the fire. As soon as TBC comes in, you're introducing another power level, dude, of spaceships and rocket fuel and all kinds of shit. So I don't know.
I mean, part of it is pretty cool the way they do it though, because you know it's like. I understand like the Draenei, like they have the ship or whatever, but all the rest of it, it's like, you know, through the dark portal, magic and Fel and all this stuff, and you know, and that is so very quintessential to the Warcraft story. Is, you know, the orcs came from the dark portal, they came from Draenor. You know, that was Warcraft 1. You know, of the orcs and humans and all that. But it's in the Burning Crusade, you really feel like, you know, Azeroth is at risk because of this world that's over here, and it's really just like, you know, you're like you said, you're homey, you're safe, you're in Azeroth, and all shit just hits the fan. Like, oh my god, you know, we have to go through the dark portal again and go back to Draenor. You're reacquainted with I was gonna say Kargoz. What's his name? Freaking Medivh's buddy.
What? Medivh's buddy?
Yeah, Medivh's.
Medivh's buddy? His buddy,
what the hell's his name? The other mage wizard, dude. I can't forget his name.
Khadgar.
Khadgar, yeah.
Okay.
Khadgar. I was gonna say Kargoz.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I love the Burning Crusade, but
yeah, so
it's definitely a change.
We should start moving a little bit. So let's add Wrath of the Lich King into the mix. Anything? I think we should stop at Wrath personally.
Favorite TBC zone though, just real quick, one word. Go.
Oh, Nagrand.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be tough for me. I think it's a Ghostlands.
Wow. Okay, I like it.
Tough one.
So I was gonna say Nagrand, but because you guys said Nagrand, the other one I was gonna pick was Blade's Edge. I really like Blade's Edge. A lot of people hate it though. But anyway.
Blade's Edge is really cool too. Yeah.
Seeing Rexar there, so fun, so cool.
Yeah. Blade's Edge is awesome, and Gruul's Lair. Yeah.
Yeah,
all the zones are distinct from each other, so they are all good in some way, but I still prefer Nagrand.
Yeah, Nagrand is beautiful, man. So pretty there. Yeah. So pretty.
Zanger Marsh is cool too.
The mushrooms, cool, I gotta say, pretty sweet.
I know. Especially when you get to fly them out and you get to like go on top of the mushrooms. You know, that's really cool.
Okay, so for Wrath of the Lich King, I think there are probably two zones in my. Maybe Grizzly Hills and Crystal Song Forest. I like Crystal Song Forest. There's nothing to do, but I like the design.
I mean, Grizzly Hills, I'm sure is for a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't know if I can.
Grizzly, man. You know, I actually when I was in high school and I was taking the I guess it must have been the SATs, right? Junior year of high school. I would study and listen to the Grizzly Hills soundtrack. Dude. And I know that sounds super nerdy, but that place brought me peace, man. I would just listen to it, study with my buddies. We were all roommates. We would just put it on. But yeah,
that music, man.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I really, Dragonblade. I love it.
Dragonblade was great. It was very well done. So was what's the Forsaken?
Zuldrak?
Where you land?
Howling Fjord.
Howling Fjord was wonderful. Yeah, it was really wonderful.
Yeah,
I think that was the best. And a lot of people think that the TBC had the most, amazing introduction. You walk through the dark portal, you see these demons fighting, but I think as far as like a welcoming, like Howling Fjord for me was so welcoming to the expansion.
I loved it.
It was just like so easily
True.
I don't know.
It is really nice, dude.
Yeah.
Howling Fjord was
Yeah.
really nice. I preferred it over Borean Tundra.
And did you enter it as a Horde or Alliance?
Horde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As Alliance, it was even more majestic.
Yeah, because you come into the boat, right?
Yeah.
Through the actual fjord, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, its Dragonblight was awesome, and I love like when you're getting a Dragonblight and it's still like the woods there, and then there's that little town there that you have to kill the undead there. There's like the old Alliance keep that was like, you know, that you have to go in there.
Yeah.
So it's like a little wooded there. Then there's the Weimer's Temple is in the middle, and then there's the little gardens where you have to get like those. I forget what it was. There's those little like green patches, and then of course you got like the Path of Titans going up north, and it's just, I don't know. It's really cool, really big zone, and there's just so much different stuff going on in Dragonblight. But yeah, and honestly, like, so Grizzly Hills, Dragonblight, Howling Fjord, those three zones, especially when you come, like, that was my kind of...
Sholazar Basin was kind of lit, too, though.
Sholazar Basin was cool. It was. The music
was
there.
really cool,
Sholazar Basin, that music. Dun, 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 dun.
He's even got it
almost,
the top, polyphonic.
I know,
Nice.
and it's almost like, for me, it was, like, very similar to Unguro. The feeling that I had. And I love Unguro Crater. Unguro's
You know it's a good expansion when you're really struggling to pick a good zone. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
Wrath did a good job with zones, man. Even TBC, I gotta say, thinking back on it, like, that was the trilogy right there. The zones were on
Shadowmoon
point.
Valley was awesome too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. But even Mordor, I mean Ice Crown was, I had to throw that in there.
That's funny, man.
Ice Crown was like a pretty badass zone.
Okay, out of the dungeons though, I ran those heroics so many times getting the Frost badges for Lich King. Some of my best memories I've ever had in WoW. Shout out to the fam if you're watching right now, Jose, Michi. We were all roommates in high school doing dungeons together, and I was tanking them. It was so much fun. What is your favorite dungeon in Wrath?
Oh my god.
They're so good, dude.
It might be Utgard Keep for me. It might be Utgard Keep. So for me, like when you go into Howling Fjord and Utgard Pinnacle and the keep is right there, I love that feeling. It's like the SFK feeling almost. But there's so many good dungeons. Oh wait, Zoldrak. What was the Drak Theron Keep?
Drak Theron Keep. That wasn't in Zoldrak. That was in the border. Are you talking about Are you talking about the one with the...
No, Drak Theron Keep. I love Drak Theron Keep. But
what's the other one in Zoldrak? I can't remember the name of it.
Gundrak. Yeah. That one was alright. That had like the animal ones, right? And then you...
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'll probably give it to Utgard Keep.
Utgard Keep?
Yeah. I love Utgard Keep.
I have to say, a lot of things that happened in Wrath I wasn't a fan of, but the friggin' dungeons, man, were like...
So good.
So well done.
Yeah.
So well
good,
done.
So good, man. So good.
I love Utgard Keep and Utgard Pinnacle. Yeah.
What
about you, Kargoz?
Yeah, it'd be UK UP, dude. I love the style of it, the rich woods and the kind of Viking style or whatever it was. You're going through it.
It has this SFK.
I never got
too,
that
like...
blue dragon though, man. I'm still mad.
Oh, dude, I wanted that thing so bad.
I never got that blue dragon. My buddy Michi got it though. Fuck.
Do you ever get the Timeless Drake? I know
my buddy. This is another story. So you're talking about the Time Lost Proto Drake, right? The one that the
Time
green
Lost
one.
Proto Drake.
All right. So this is what happened. I'm in my dorm room. Wrath just came out, dude. It's like a couple weeks fresh. We're all leveled up to max level. It's me and my buddy Jose, Michi, Jim. We're all in the same room. We're leveling together. We're end game together. Jose just walks right into the place where the Time Lost is. What was it? What was the place called? The zone? It was like was it Dragonblight?
Storm Peaks.
Storm Peaks, right?
Yeah,
all right. He walks in, and literally his first couple seconds in the zone, he encounters it, right? So I think it's just like an average quest mob type thing. Like I think it's just like a normal thing. And he's like, "Oh, I just killed this thing. I just got him out." And I kept thinking like, "Oh, okay, I'll go do that too." I didn't know how rare it was. He got it like instantly as soon as the game came out, and then I tried over and over again. I even downloaded the add-ons and stuff to like detect it.
Yeah, I had them too. I had all the add-ons. I had all the. Never got it either.
Never got it.
So
I can't believe though we were talking about dungeons and we dropped.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
One of the best dungeons of all time, calling a fucking Stratholme.
Oh
yeah, calling.
Was that Wrath?
Oh my god,
it was
dude.
so
It was
good,
Wrath.
dude. I might have to change my mind actually, man.
I know.
The shield that you get from there, dude. You know the shield. I forgot.
The Melderon crest.
It's
so nice looking. I love that shield, man.
Yeah. I can't believe I forgot about Colin.
Also, Trendkill just mentioned this. Do you remember the ICC dungeon they brought out later? It was the hell was it called?
You had to help Sylvanas.
Yes.
Yeah.
That introduction where like that guy's talking
Mm-hmm.
and he's like rising the dead. That gives me chills still to this moment. He's like,
Oh yeah.
he's like, come forth and receive your master's call. And then he raises those guys up and you fight them in that like gauntlet kind of style kind of thing. That was
dude, that was great.
Do you remember that?
Yes,
I do remember that.
That was so good, dude. Good.
There was the 2 dungeons. There was the one that was like outside. You had
Halls of Reflection. Thank you, Light.
Halls of Reflection.
That's
what was the other one? There was another one too.
There was the one that was like the other one I didn't like, where you're like inside on like those raised platforms.
That like mining thing. Yeah.
No, that's another one. There was 3.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the one outside with the mining was called.
Where the first boss was in that like big zone, and then you had to go through that tunnel. At the end was the guy on the dragon that came down.
Someone's gonna put it in chat.
Yeah.
I can't remember a lot of it.
Yo,
there was so many
Sauron, thank
chat,
you.
everyone needs to answer, dude. What is the worst raid ever made? Because a lot of people would say it'd be Trial of the Crusader. Throw it out there. I'm just throwing it out there. Worst raid they ever created, man. Personally, I didn't have the worst experience with Trial of the Crusader. I don't know.
I didn't like Trial of the Crusader. I did not.
I think it's because I was
Right,
getting
the
geared
Lich
out.
King next from us was pretty bad, right?
I never experienced vanilla Nax, so I thought it was awesome.
I love Nax 25.
I quit trading in Red of the Lich King because of Nax.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, Forge of Souls was the one.
Yeah, I didn't like the Forge of Souls.
Yeah. So worst. Oh wow, Hyjal.
Worst raid.
Hyjal wasn't a great raid. Hyjal was a letdown. I don't know if I make that.
Which one was that again? Was that the dragon?
Mount Hyjal was in Burning Crusade.
Yeah, he had a lot of trash in Hyjal, but it was kind of alright.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was the worst. I might have to put so I rated. I did a little bit of rating in every expansion, whether it was like a little bit here and there in later expansions. Mop though, I know a lot of people love the Mop dungeon, the Mop raids. I mean, Siege of Orgrimmar was great, but I don't. There was one in Mop that I really did not like.
The Eternals.
That was it. The Eternal. And I wouldn't say it was my least favorite.
That was a shitty. I didn't like that raid at all.
Yeah.
What about the first one of Legion? What was his name?
The Nighthold?
No, the one.
Oh, I remember it. I fucking hate Dragon Soul, dude.
Actually.
Dragon Soul. I read them.
So
Dragon Soul. Yeah, Dragon Soul.
Dragon
the worst one, Emerald Sanctuary. Was the first,
Are we forgetting Trial of the Crusader here?
No, I know.
Well, I didn't have the worst experience, but I got geared out the ass in Trial of the Crusader.
There was no trash. There was no immersion at all. It was the worst.
Boss.
Yeah, I honestly think Trial of the Crusader is my least favorite.
Think so?
I would have to say, especially coming from the raids like you did Ulduar, and then you're in.
You did Nax, Ulduar, Nax, Ulduar, and then you're in
Trial of the Crusade. I loved ICC. I thought ICC was amazing.
Yeah, ICC was great, man. One of the best.
So someone brought up a really good point about Ajal Narob. So you remember that was supposed to be a zone?
Zone, yep. Mm-hmm.
Could you? So that was. I want to just say whoever that was, Chauncey. That was my biggest letdown of. We talk about WoW in general, like stuff they could have incorporated. Was the Nerubian Empire stuff like that? To me, was like we only got those 2 little short dungeons or whatever, where you saw parts of this empire that's literally the size of Northrend, but underneath of it, right?
Yeah.
So imagine how big that is, and think to yourself, that could have been an expansion. That could have literally been an expansion. Was to go into the Nerubian Empire.
That was a fun dungeon too. I love that dungeon.
Yeah. If it would have been awesome because I like insects. So like for me, it's like. That would have been huge. I would have loved.
Wrath did a lot of things wrong, especially later on towards Wrath. When it came to LFG, all that. But they told the story so well in Wrath. It wasn't that they told the story; is that the story, what was going on behind the scenes, was so good. You had to kill Arthur, and the storytelling did change a lot in Wrath. You had Wrathgate, you had cinematics stuff like that, and a lot of people didn't like the inclusion of cinematics and how it was more of the person experience, less of the person experiencing it and more of Blizzard putting it in your face. But the story arc in Wrath was so good, everything that was going on, why you were going to kill the Lich King and all that. I loved it.
I agree.
Yeah.
ICC was dope.
ICC was dope. Yeah.
And that's where the trilogy ends, dude. Because after that, I don't know. What was after Wrath again? It was Kata?
Cataclysm. But I do want to say that I thought the Hyjal zone in Cataclysm was very well done. I will say
Hyjal was, and I gotta say, in the very beginning of Kata, the friggin' heroic dungeons were tough.
They
were tough.
They were. I remember wiping those. Yeah, like that one with the in Uldum or whatever. Oh man, that one was.
Yeah, I agree, Sharky, with that. In a way, I do feel like there was cinematic, especially for killing Arthas. Yeah.
So
but did you guys enjoy like when you killed Arthas? Do you think that was a good ending for Arthas?
Yeah, it was pretty epic.
Yeah. I mean, it had to happen, right? You know, yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I never killed him.
Really?
I only played PvP. Like, literally only PvP.
I don't know if I like the fact that there had to have been a Lich King after that. That whole thing with Bolvar 4 Dragon. I don't know if that was or whatever. I don't know. Because like this says there always has to be a Lich King. Well, really, does there really? I mean, like
there wasn't one before. Before
Ner'zhul, so like, why don't we just kill the rest of the undead and then it's over? So I don't know what that was supposed to set up, because obviously I don't think they're ever going to come back to it.
Maybe I think there's going to be another expansion with.
Oh my god!
I guarantee you there will be a Lich King too.
They said Wrath of the Fire King.
Wrath of the Fire King.
Yeah.
Wrath of Bolvar.
Yeah. Because remember he was torched by the dragons, so it's like he's Wrath of the Fire King. But,
so shall we move on to expansions? Like how they make them?
Do we have enough time to really give that topic justice?
We can talk about it for a little bit, I think, But,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so what is it? Explain. What are we talking about?
Yeah. So basically, you can go, Melderon.
I was so basically what we were thinking of before we started the podcast was, okay, so we saw how the game was expanded over the last 15 years or whatever, 14 years, and it's a very clear vertical progression where old parts of the world become obsolete, gear becomes immediately obsolete, and you go into this new place in X, Y, and Z. So we were thinking, is that design good? And did it put them in a bad place eventually? Like, I think a lot of the reasons why Warcraft is in a bad place now is because it's gotten so inflated.
Yeah.
And you become so high level that you think you're almost forced to be that savior, because, like, how do you explain to someone, you're level 120, but you're still not something? I think they actually shot themselves in the foot that way. So if we do, let's say in a perfect world, I don't know what's going to happen when Classic is over, but if we do expand Classic, and if we don't decide to go TBC and Wrath of the Lich King, I believe, and we all kind of agreed on this, that we should really consider horizontal progression in Classic. So, like, what does that mean? How do we do that? And is vertical progression bad? I think those are the questions.
So vertical progression, I don't really understand this stuff too well. So you're saying vertical progression is like expansions?
Not only, so it doesn't really have to, so it's just adding new content, increasing level cap, and making old gear obsolete.
And
that's
vertical. And just making you like stronger and stronger, right?
Correct.
Basically,
if you go horizontal progression, it doesn't necessarily mean you cannot get stronger.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, vertical means like, increasing the level cap, and everything before is just completely worthless. So, if you go for horizontal progression, you add, for example, I'm just thinking out of my head, you add zones, you add raids, but they're on the same level. So you can expand on the world which already existed, and you just add content instead of removing the old world, and then make it all over again in a new expansion.
Yeah, and let me just say, like, I think that's an interesting idea with the horizontal progression and all, but when it comes to vanilla, like, I would only be okay with that as long as there was still some kind of vanilla, like most of the realms were, the original vanilla, the end at max. I don't think every realm should have like a patch one.
I agree. I agree.
This is the idea of like maybe down the line something happens, maybe a WoW 2.0 where they pick up where they left off or something like that. So yeah, the idea of like, putting on a new expansion, you go to Outland and all of a sudden, unless you're leveling from 1 to 60, which a lot of people weren't, you were going from 60 to 70 if you played in, the vanilla, you didn't go into the old world. And, exactly. Preservation first. Thank you, Charlie. So you didn't experience everything that happened in vanilla, it's gone in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Molten Core is obsolete, Naxxramas is obsolete, all this is obsolete. As soon as you hit level 64, you're getting, or you know, it's not 64, but as soon as you start to do some dungeons, you're losing all this epic gear that you got from. And, you know, a lot of people.
Can I say something that's kind of gonna make people upset?
Yeah.
All right, so. Someone was saying
this isn't Rogue Suck again, is it?
No, Rogue Suck. But in addition, I have to say, so Billy was saying a second ago in the chat, he was saying make it so cap the level cap, and that makes me a sad panda because leveling is my favorite part of the game to a certain extent, and I'm thinking to myself, man, this is a conundrum. Like, how do you do these new expansions?
That's the point.
What I would suggest is, when a new expansion comes out, you have to level another character, man. I don't think you keep your character going. I think that's it. I think your character gets immortalized or whatever, and you can maybe like look at him or something. I'm not exactly sure, but I think you got to make.
What about all the end game?
I think you got to make that hard choice where people have to re-level and experience the world again. I don't know. It's the same thing where getting a taste of the private server communities. People love fresh, right? Because they love that new experience. It's exciting, re-rolling, making a new character.
I don't agree with this at all.
I thought about this. I thought about this.
Okay.
I see we're coming from Kargoz now. I thought about this. You know, so there's other games where, you know, they release a new amount of content, but it doesn't necessarily impact the old content. So, like, I'm not sure, but I think the Elder Scrolls Online might be one of those games. So, there's another game that I'm thinking of, I think. So basically, they introduced new content, right? And the idea of it is you're not making this new content and the gear that's in there so much better than, you know, what was before, so that you feel like people can still progress through the old content. Maybe you increase some of the gear through some of the old content so people still have to do it. And instead of like that, and the question is here, there's like, what do you replace the leveling process with? So say, you know, you level 1 through 60, and now that's it. Like 60 is the max. There's no more level. So there has to be some kind of progression where you still get that feeling of.
Yeah, Charky explained. So Charky said in OSRS, what they do is they do it with skill points.
Yes, exactly. With skill points is what they do. So you're basically still getting that feeling that you did when you were leveling Kargoz. You know, with the skill points. There could be something else, and I think we're so used to this WoW-based type of MMO and type of content and how it's released that sometimes it's hard for us to imagine anything different. So I definitely think it would be so interesting for this new content to come out, and say in this new raid, you know, there was something in that raid that made half the gear from MC, like, you know, a lot of MC gear has certain resistances, so
that's
it makes
what I was exactly what I was going to say.
So people are going back and do, okay, we got to do MC to do this raid.
Yeah,
we got to
do
do
it with
Ani
resistances.
to do this.
You do it with resistance. I think that's how you do horizontal progression. Is that okay? So MC, you have fire resist gear or whatever, and then by Nax we had shadow and frost resist gear. Yeah. How about a you know, and AQ we had a few fights that were nature resist. Yeah. How about a nature based raid tier where you need to go back and farm AQ or farm those dragons of nightmare or whatever for nature resist gear, or go back to Molten Core and farm more fire resist gear for fireball.
Example, yeah, or it could be a certain item. You know, like, oh, we need to help our guild so that our main tank can get this weapon, which you need this one weapon.
So are you guys talking about keeping the power level kind of steady and flat though, instead of just inflating it?
Not so much.
So there's always a power creep, but it's very, very minimal. Yeah. I think there's always a power. There's a power creep now already, right? So there's obvious power creep between MC and BWL. Say AQ next. So I think that's not a bad thing, but I think you should shorten the gaps in between them. I don't know how long that can last, though.
Yeah.
You know, like, how long until...
That's the thing. You know, how long...
What if a year or two from now, or 5 years from now, you have people white hit... You know, some guy in tier 7 gear is, like, literally one-hitting someone in tier 1. You know what I mean? I don't know when that happens, but...
Okay.
Can I say something about it? Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about this, how they can do it. So, I think you need the power creep as it is in vanilla WoW. Maybe Nax was a little bit too much, but other than that, like when you go from MC to BBL, BWL, that's okay, and to AQ, that's okay. But what you were saying about the resistance gear, I would say if they make an expansion, you need to make more than new raids and stuff, so they need to add zones. But if you don't need to level anymore, then those zones need to have something else to do. And one way to fix it is maybe add a zone in which you can get certain resistance gear or get certain reputation, which you can buy new gear which you need for a certain raid, something like that. And I think you can also add new leveling zones, so you just have more options.
Right.
Like
for new players,
yeah. Also for not only for new, basically, especially
for
all
alts,
players. Yeah. Because that makes leveling fresh, and it gives you a reason to level something new. So you add zones at every level, I think, without increasing the level cap. Then you add raids as well, and I kind of like it if you need to go through some sort of progression, like you start with MC, then you go to the next, then you go to the next. But if you do that for 20 raids, it will be really stupid. So they need to rotate something, I suppose. Like keep the newest 4 raids and make those before not necessary anymore. Something like that. Like
at some point you have to cut some shit.
But like, the cutting needs to be really minimal. But I suppose if they kept, if let's say they go to the Burning Crusade without changing the level cap, they could, for example, they just could cut Molten Core, so the first raid would be double BWL for new characters, and they add new raids which you can only enter after you get the next Rammus gear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it would not be too hard for new characters, but you still have to go through the progression of the last 4 raids, something like that. That was what I was thinking. I don't know.
Yeah, Brandon, we're not saying that Classic shouldn't be cut. We're just talking about if there was a, and first of all, we're talking about this is only in the case that as long as there was a Classic that was, pristine Classic, and, talking about how MMOs it could not have to just add, expansion after expansion after expansion. And if Blizzard down the line did decide to do something different, where they said, let's do, vanilla TBC, but then we're going to make a vanilla server that does continue on to 113 or whatever. This is how they should do it instead of just adding content on this. And that would be the only way that vanilla could, because you can't add another expansion because that's what they did with TBC. So they would have to figure out some other thing.
Go on.
And that's what I think they should do with another. If they do another MMO, learn from your mistakes, right? If you do, like, say, World Diablo, don't have. Yeah, it's cool when a new expansion comes out. There's a new boss. There's all this too, but you really are damaging, so much of that old content that someone who's new never experienced. Yeah, they get to do a couple of the leveling zones, but then you totally don't even get to see.
I would just want to chime in here
the end game was like
and say, okay, I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying, right? I'm just saying there is people out there that I like the kind of flat, I like fresh, I like the kind of flat power level, power creep, whatever you call it. I think it would be cool that no matter what direction they take with the expansions, if they could offer a certain set of servers that are fresh servers that you have to level on and you can't really transfer to and from these servers, right? And they constantly create new servers to promote fresh and leveling and all that, and then consolidate them over time. That would be dope. Well,
I think that can happen regardless of these things. I think that
they can, yeah. But have they been doing that though? Yeah. That's the thing. I don't know if they've been doing that. Does Blizzard make a little announcement saying like a whole new batch of fresh servers hitting? I don't know.
Yeah, I think what they can do is offer options, because there are going to be people who don't want to leave the original world, and I'm not going to tell you what I am, but so that there's like, Molten Core, BWL, AQ next, and that cycle is going to go on forever. Maybe there's a lot of people that want that. Then there's another group of people that want to say, okay, I've got my fill of Classic, I want to go through the Dark Portal. Then you have those people. But maybe there's some people who want an MMO in the classic philosophy and want to progress horizontally in the classic way. So vanilla, And I think that there's three main groups of people, and you can play on either of those servers. You can move around. You're not limited to one thing. Is that sustainable? I don't know, but I think that there's three possible options that Classic can be immortalized, and I think those are the three possible ways you can do it. Other than making a brand new MMO called WoW 2, where I don't know what that is, if that's ever going to happen, but that's how I look at it.
I do see what Kargoz saying with the new servers, because say you release a new server, right, and you made it so that the 6 months of this server, the first 6 months of the server, you have, or say the first year of the server, you have vanilla content, and then after that, then TBC content, kind of a quicker progression of each expansion, so that people can experience it in a faster way. I mean, something like that, I guess, could work in a sense, but what do you guys think about time walking? Do you think that was a good idea?
I don't know, man. Some of like you said, we were talking about culling a Stratholme, right? That was dope, but I have a big issue with. Isn't that what the correct term? Retconning? Is that what it is? Kind of when you're able to bring old school stuff back.
Retcon is when you change the lore retroactively. So it's if you let's say. I'm trying to think of an example from WoW.
I got you. No, I feel you. I just think when you're playing around with different dimensions and shit, and you're going back and forward in time, it loses me a little bit. I start to
that's right. That's retconning. Sure. I think you're talking about dungeons. Sorry.
No,
that's an example.
When Chromie's just hey, you can go back here and experience this amazing event whenever you want. It kind of it kills the immersion a little bit for me, even if it could be cool. Yeah. You see this in some TV shows and stuff where they just start playing around with different dimensions and going back and forth in time. I don't know. It starts to. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I agree. But do you think that I think people do? So that's an interesting question. Is anyone bothered by the fact that Classic WoW isn't actually occurring in the lore? Does that make sense?
What do you mean?
What I mean is Classic WoW. If we imagine every IP on a progression through time, things change, and Season 1 of Game of Thrones is different than Season 7.
Right.
Things have changed, X, Y, and Z. WoW has done the same thing. So we're going back to the classic era, which has already happened before. Does it bother anyone that they play a game that isn't relevant lore-wise anymore?
I see what you mean. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, it does bother me sometimes, especially seeing how the new lore is going. That's what bothers me.
Yeah.
What bothers me is the lore, the classic lore is kind of sacred to me, and you see, things like Undercity being, sacked and being gone to the Alliance, and you see things like what happened with, it does upset me to a point, but then I just kind of say, well, screw the rest of it. I don't really care about it. I'm just about what's going on here,
Yeah, I mean, it's something I think about, I guess, a little bit, but I'm just glad they can capture kind of the glory days of it, if the current lore is kind of going to shit or whatever, at least you can experience the glory days.
Yeah, I agree. It's going back to, and that's why I don't think the classic WoW can fiscally and fundamentally save Blizzard. I think that it can add to a movement. I think that it can be a spark for change. But I don't think it's the saving grace of what's going to change Blizzard. And I don't know legality. I don't know how any of that stuff works. I don't know if they can split from Activision. I have no idea. But that's what they need to do. That they need to get away from these money-hungry bastards, and they need to, really redefine themselves.
Go back to their roots, man.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's ever going to happen, though.
Yeah,
is that?
Yeah.
You see, the problem with a lot of the time when you look back and you try to redo things, I feel like the time was part of it. So many different things were part of it than just like someone was saying about the developers, not too many good developers left. That could be a part of it. The people that were there could have been 2 or 3 guys that made such an impact on vanilla or TDC that are no longer there that are gonna, what I mean? There's so many different elements, and I was thinking about the whole time walking thing, and when you do a time walking dungeon, it's nowhere near compared to what it was like when you did it in vanilla or BC or whatever, because it's always way too easy. It's always way quicker than it was, and it kind of goes back to when you try to do things like how you did before. If you're not that same person, you're not that in that same time. It's really hard to recreate. And then talking about classic WoW, Like, why can't they just do a 100% copy of Classic WoW? You know, why they have to add the sharding or loot trading and stuff like that? And it's like there's little elements of putting today into yesterday. You know,
can you guys think of any IP, whether it be Warcraft or Halo or any movie even or show or whatever, that got corporatized? You know what I mean? Like maybe they went IPO, they got acquired, they got rolled up, whatever. So they got corporatized. They kind of started to get off track, veer off track, and they brought it back to their roots. Has that ever happened ever? I can't think of any. I can't think of any, dude. That's what kind of bumming me out right now.
Well, Bungie.
I mean, what are we talking about with Halo? Are they going to go back to the combat evolved Halo 2
I don't know. I mean,
dark macabre roots? I mean, we'll have to see, I guess. But is there a case study to even look for, like where they're like, you know what, our amazing IP that we worked so hard to build this amazing universe is getting tarnished by stakeholders.
Usually, what happens?
Fuck that.
Is there a small contingent?
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just saying, like, where they bring it back to the original level of intensity and authenticity, and the original people that even made that IP popular to begin with go, wow, like, great job. I don't know if there's a case study that comes to mind. That's what I'm saying.
I think that what usually happens is that it's a contingent of people that leave and start their own independent, small scale thing, right? So that's what we need to look out for, and that's why we need to give love to small things like Pantheon. We can't just brush it off and say it's not Blizzard, so it can't be good, or it can't be this, or it can't be that. Well, okay, at least they're trying. At least it's an independent group of people. A couple guys are from EverQuest, but it's people that are coming together, getting crowdfunded, and trying to bring back an MMO. Give them at least a chance. You know what I mean? And yes, they won't be AAA, whatever. But is that bad? I mean, do you always watch movies done by a certain director? Like, I don't. I try to watch movies that are done by different people. I try to give other people shots.
Does that mean that we should just forget about?
But you're kind of giving up on the IP, though. You're like, all right, Warcraft, it's done. We're moving on, right? Maybe that's sad, though.
Or are you done with Blizz?
Yeah.
Like I like what
What would it take for them to go?
For Pantheon.
Warcraft is sacred. Fuck this noise. We're bringing it back home, boys. We're literally Christy Golden's gonna write another 20 novels on it. We're bringing it back. It's gonna be like Diablo. We're gonna have amazing cinematics again. Like.
Yeah, but that's why I made that video last week. It's. I don't know if anyone from Blizzard watches this stuff, but if anyone's watching it from any level, what I'm trying to say is, you know what you did right. You know what you did wrong at this point. I know there's implications of shareholders and this and that, but you know what's going to make it a lasting MMO, a winning MMO. You have to go back to the core RPG elements. The problem is, and everyone said this, I'm not the first one to say it, is that Blizzard is coddling people who don't even like MMOs. Yeah. They just like a collection game or whatever. There's those games already. If you want to make an
MMO, to everyone.
Yeah, and they just are coming for the flavor of the week, man. They don't love you. They just want to come and get the new mount. They just want to come and get the new whatever.
Play for a couple of weeks and tap out. Yeah.
That's not an MMO community, man.
No, it's not.
That's a good point, man. That's a good point.
WoW is not an MMO, and it hasn't.
That's a good point, man. Now,
I don't know.
This is the last point I'll make. So this is another thing that I'm curious about. So part of this corporatization of IPs, like whether it be Halo or WoW or even TV shows, is that the content becomes more kiddie. It becomes more like PC. It becomes more accessible to everyone. It just dilutes, right? It dilutes.
Yeah.
But how does that, like, how is that good? I don't know. Like, does that really move the needle a lot? What do you guys think? Because I feel like even if, as a little kid, I've mentioned this before, you were always going for that edgy, mature content. You were always looking for that, the intense dialogue and the dark themes and stuff like that. Do you think that by kind of dumbing it down and making it more Disney and more PC and more, does that help? Is it helping the IP? Has it been helping to grow the fan base?
That's it's interesting because it makes.
Okay. Yeah.
No, you can. Def.
No, I just wanted. There were things like look at the Nintendo Wii, right? Versus the PlayStation and the Xbox. It was the most sold console at the time, and it was more towards that younger generation, the kiddie. I definitely think they get the sales. but they don't get the passion that people get when they play like the PS2 or 3, whatever it was, or the Xbox. Like you have people who love those consoles, and the Wii was more of that standard like Disney, type kiddie stuff. Yeah, they got the sales, but it didn't get it's not remembered as being one of the greatest consoles of all time. That's what I wanted to say. It's kind of that type of thing that I see it.
I think it's a misconception of the current world population, basically, that everything needs to be easy for being popular or being accessible. I mean, it's not only in games; it's like everywhere. I'm a teacher, so I feel like in the school system you see exactly the same as you see in the game world. It's probably weird to say, but it's true. Everything needs to be instant gratification. Everything needs to be fun. It needs to be fun to learn. Everyone needs to have. Everyone needs to pass. Everyone needs high points, or you can't give any points anymore. Because if someone has too low points, it would be bad for their development and stuff.
We have the same issues in the US.
Well, it's the same you can see in World of Warcraft or in gaming. Everything needs to be accessible for everyone, and no one can be left behind. And by doing that, no one is actually gratified.
Preach. And another thing, have you guys heard this expression where they tell you it's better to be liked by a few? I mean, better to be loved by a few than liked by many. You ever heard that? Like that, to be loved by a few core people who are passionate, as opposed to just be liked, acquaintance level.
Absolutely.
I carry that in my own life. I have a few tier 1 people in my life that I hold really close, and then lots of acquaintances or whatever, But maybe that's the same for games. Like maybe by staying true and to those people who love you and staying true to them, maybe that will get you more success than trying to dumb it down, appeal to more, so that let's say 10 million people like you. But let's say if you strive to have your company loved by like 50,000, maybe you'll get 20 million people liking you. I don't know.
Yeah.
The thing is, by trying to make everyone like you, it probably ends up no one's really liking you anymore.
That's so true.
It just lowers your respect
standard. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's like how can someone respect someone who literally tries to play every field? Stick to your gun.
Stick to your gun.
You know what I mean? It's like me. It's like me going into this is purely an example. I'm not going to talk about politics. It's like me going into a Republican National Committee, right, and being like, "Oh, I love Trump. I love Republicans," and then I go into a Democrat thing and say the same thing about Democrats. Who the hell am I?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Who are you at that point? You're not sticking to your guns.
No.
All the respect I've ever earned in my life is because I've stuck to some core belief. I've debated people. I've talked to them in a civil discourse, but I've stuck to what I believe and what I feel. And if Blizzard sticks to the MMO community, they will become respected, and they will get their subs back slowly, but it'll happen. And I think that's just what it comes down to. It's just like you can't please everyone. You cannot do it. It's impossible. You just can't. And if you do, no one's going to give a shit about you. No one's going to respect you.
The company that we all fell in love with for being the PC gamer. You were the PC gamers, and they were us. That's the thing about Blizzard. They weren't just the developers; they were the player base, and they had the respect of the player base because they understood us. They understood what kind of games we loved. They weren't just about being the next fad, being the next cool thing. And you can look back, and when that merger with Activision happened, it became less and less of that. It became less and less of the player base's go-to development team. They were look at games like Diablo 1, Warcraft 3, StarCraft 1. These are freaking legends. It's so weird to look at Blizzard now and see what they've done back then. Yeah. They're two totally different companies. Just like WoW today, retail today is totally different than Classic. Blizzard today is totally different than Blizzard of yesterday.
No doubt, man.
And I think being dissatisfied with with Blizzard's current status is okay. You know, I think that tough love is a real thing. You know, if we every change comes in and we say that's okay, I love Blizzard, or that's okay, I love Warcraft, and you let that like love or whatever just keep you going, and that's just codependency. Really, it's not love, right? If you stop someone and say like, listen, you know, you're doing something wrong. I want to help you fix yourself. That's more love than just acceptance of just things that are just being pushed out. So if you truly do love Blizzard or the IP, show them some tough love, have an intervention. You know what I mean? That's what we do. You know, and honestly, show it with your wallet. If you don't like what they're doing, don't buy anything they make.
That's the number one thing. Talk is cheap, right?
Yeah.
U.S. dollars ain't cheap. But wait, hold on.
That's right.
So okay, and out of just to piggyback. So what are your top 3 most sacred IPs to you that you've invested in emotionally over the years?
Star Trek.
Like.
In order, you gotta rank them. What's the number one? No, everything. I'm talking everything in your goddamn life, dude. Number
Is
one.
Is sports considered intellectual property?
Because
I give you my 3 right now.
Okay.
If sports are considered.
No, don't include sports. I would say it includes like shows. Oh man, maybe sports then. Fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
Sports are included. Yeah. Okay. Sports are included. It's an IP, dude. It's an IP. Yeah, go for it.
It's hard. I can give 4. Is that okay?
Yeah. What's the most important? Start with most important to you.
Wow. It's.
You guys hear me?
Now
we can. Now we can. Yeah.
I need to think about it a little more.
It has to be an entertainment IP, Definos. Definos says Toyota. Shout out to Toyota, though. Much love to the Japanese cars. They do a great job. We're a Lexus family over here. But, all right, number 1 for me is Warcraft. I'll tell you, straight up.
Absolutely, number 1 for me.
Warcraft is number 1 for me. So everything I'm saying, man, is out of love, man. I love this game. It's one of the only games I've actually, like, read books about and stuff. I never really did that with a lot of other games. The only other game, actually, was Halo. So it would probably go...
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I need to put World of Warcraft or Warcraft at number 1 as well.
Nice.
But it's hard because Lord of the Rings is part of it, and I kind of see them together. But yeah,
they're not though.
Yeah, that's.
No, they're not. But yeah, you know, it's the same kind of fantasy world, and yeah. Well, something else is Formula 1 for me.
Oh, there you go. Okay. That's cool. Well, for me, it'll definitely be WoW. Absolutely. Number 2 would probably be Star Trek. And number 3 might be Lord of the Rings, maybe. I'm having trouble with number 3. Yeah, I think that Ron just lagged out or something like that. So, yeah.
I really like Harry Potter as well.
Harry Potter is good, though.
I also love Zelda. 3 spot might be Time Zelda. Zelda.
Man, some good choices here.
Yeah. It's even. I don't know. Like number 1 and 2 is definitely WoW. And I'm a huge Star Trek nerd. I can like whether it's original series or whether it's Deep Space Nine. I mean, I love Star Trek. WoW, Star Trek, and probably Lord of the Rings. I mean, not so much lately Lord of the Rings because it's not much going on there, but yeah.
So yeah, where did Melderon go?
He'll probably come back in a second.
Yeah, he'll probably come back, yeah.
For me, it's Warcraft. Number 2 is going to be Halo. Number 3, I'm having a hard time with thinking about it. It might be Lord of the Rings, actually. I do really enjoy Lord of the Rings.
And, dude, Lord of the Rings, I mean, it's so much has come from that, too. So, like, saying that, it's kind of encircling a lot of other things. To me, that's what it does.
Yep. Yeah. It might be Lord of the Rings, man. I remember dressing up during Halloween when I was a little kid, like an orc with an orc mask on and everything. I gotta show Lord of the Rings some love for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Captain Chaos said finally able to catch a live stream.
Nice, man. Finally able to catch a live stream, dude. Glad to have you here. He's part of the actual members, dude. Yo, thank you for all your support, Captain. Appreciate it, man. So seems like Melderon might have lagged out, man. Maybe we should wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up, and we got to head out.
I just need to mention one more IP.
No, let's hear it. What is it?
The Age of Series. Age of Empires.
Oh,
Age of
dude.
Mythology.
Oh my god, dude, yeah.
The thing
But
is,
they totally ruined it.
is
now.
there a story for it though? That's the thing. I love Age of Empires. I might have that up there too. But
There's no story.
yeah, I'm thinking
Yeah.
about stories, man. Yeah. All right. Anyways, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. We've been streaming for about an hour and a half
Here's
now.
Melderon. Yeah.
Lost
back.
internet.
Yeah, he lost internet. Oh,
We got to
he's
hear
back.
your top 3 before we go, Melderon.
top 3 before you top 3 IPs.
Star Trek.
Star Trek's number 1.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Wow.
Above WoW.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Warcraft.
Yeah.
Um,
Star Trek, Warcraft.
I don't even want to know how much lore he
Dark
knows about
Tower,
Star Trek.
Dark
If he already
Tower.
knows so much about WoW, I can't even imagine how much this guy knows about
Dude,
Star Trek.
yeah. I mean, I love Star
can't
Trek
even
too, but I gotta say,
imagine.
WoW's my number 1.
Okay.
So his number 3 was Dark Tower, which is a book by Stephen King.
Wow.
That's his number 3.
I might
yeah.
read
No one mentioned Star Wars.
I mean, yeah, Star Wars, Diablo, StarCraft, like they're all up there. You know, other games that I spent hours upon hours. Like I said, Zelda's up there. Dude, there's so many fucking games up there. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like Star Wars. Star Wars is up there too because Star Wars, the Old Republic. I mean, I don't know how many times I've seen that. Knights of the Old Republic. Yeah, Dark Tower is amazing.
You're getting some love in the chat for Dark Tower. I might actually
Yeah,
read
dude,
that,
Dark Tower. Yeah, you guys gotta check it out.
Stephanos.
Stephen King is just amazing. I
He
mean,
is, dude.
but the Dark Tower is. Yeah, don't judge it by the fucking movie that came out, please. If you guys saw
There's
the
a
movie,
movie?
and
I might watch that, dude. Is
no,
it bad?
never mind. There's no movie.
There's no movie? I'm watching Dark Tower,
No,
dude.
there's no movie.
Eating lunch over Dark Tower. Dark Tower
Huh?
movie.
I know, I'm joking. Telling
Oh,
him,
good.
I'm telling him there's no
Oh,
movie, so
oh.
he doesn't watch it.
Oh.
But yeah, Sharky, I don't know why that. Yeah, if you only see a quarter of my head, maybe that's the good part of my
We'll
head.
try to
But,
get back on.
we're about to close, Phil. We're about to go. Yeah, so.
I love you guys.
All right, we're wrapping it
yeah.
up, guys. So thank you for your time today. We'll see you next week. We're doing it again next week, right, boys?
Yeah.
All right, so you can
It
expect
was
this
great fun again.
every week. It's always fun hanging out with the fellas. We'll see you next week. Drop your favorite IPs in chat as a closing statement, and
Yeah. Favorite
we'll
IPs.
see you guys next time, man. See you next time. Take it easy.
Alright.
Bye.